that are percolating now, and our sheriffs have done more than any other sheriffs in the state and any other state, and maybe even all 49 states combined when it comes to enforcing our laws against illegal immigration. And we called on both our state and local agencies to be on the team on this. And I understand it's not necessarily the core mission. Ideally, we would have a federal government that just takes care of this, right? And we wouldn't even have to, maybe you get someone in a jail and then you just turn them over. You don't have to worry about it. That would be ideal in terms of how I think this is supposed to work. But we're coming off a period, particularly the last 4 years, where we had massive infusion across the southern border. We've had persistent problems for many, many decades. And it was the fact that if you're going to reassert the sovereignty of the country, if you're going to restore the rule of law, and if you're going to make sure that illegal immigration is in fact illegal, you weren't going to be able to do that with just DHS resources alone, particularly at the start of the Trump administration after 4 years of the agency really wilting, particularly interior enforcement. So we did legislation. Everyone's got to be on board. You got to do best efforts to help assist with that. We now have these 287G agreements, which are task force model, where we're going in and I think, Grady Judd was, when we did our update the other day, he pointed out, we're apprehending faster than DHS can hold and process. And so the results in Florida and the efforts in Florida have been so far above and beyond any other state in the country. And it's really, we're pointed to as the model for what DHS wants to see all around the United States of America. And so that was part of the reason why under my leadership with the Division of Emergency Management, we set up this processing site at the Dade Collier Airport in the Everglades to be able to have a place where illegals could go, get them processed, and then literally there's a runway and they can be flown out immediately. And it's interesting because, you hear this different stuff. The people that are going to the Alligator Alcatraz are illegally in the country. They've all already been given a final order of removal. So people talk about due process, this and that. And obviously, there's some process. I mean, if you do have a right to be here, then that should matter. There should be some way to ensure that you are here illegally before they send you, for sure. But these guys have already gone through that. So they have that. So if you have an order to be removed, what is the possible objection to the federal government enforcing that removal order? Now, I know under Biden, all that was just a suggestion, right? You come across the border, they give you a notice to appear 3 years into the future. Not much of a deterrent when you do that. And if you did have a final order of removal, they were not sending ICE or DHS, after folks. But that's what you're dealing with here. And so if you don't believe that someone under a final, and we have probably 50 to 80,000 just in the state of Florida that already are under the final orders of removal. They've gone through, and that's what's happened. So if you don't think those folks should be sent back, then you basically just want an open border. If you're going to say that having been ordered to be removed through the process we have, that shouldn't amount to anything, I would ask, well, then why would a U.S. citizen have to follow an order to pay more taxes by the IRS? Why would a U.S. citizen have to follow orders that they don't like that are issued under federal law? It's almost like people want to give special privileges to people that are here illegally and that have already had this final order of removal. So those flights out of that airport have begun. We're monitoring the cadence of those. We do have the ability to increase capacity, and I'm willing to do that, not just there, but also at our site in Camp Blanding. But what I want is, obviously I hope DHS just, right sizes and can take it. But until then, what I want to be, it's not our responsibility to just hold people indefinitely. Our job is to help the processing and deportation. So these should be short-term. You go through whatever you need to go through to get the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and then they're on a plane, and then they're out. So they've deported over 100 from there, and they've had 300 or 400 more that have flown out of there and are either have been deported or are awaiting deporting from other places in the United States. You know, it's just like, I mean, you guys know, it's like a hub and spoke, right? You know, you have airlines that will feed into one place. Well, we may have 100 illegals that are ready to be sent, but they may be from 6 or 7 different countries. So they have places in like Louisiana where they can fly into, and then they basically segregate people based on the country that the next flights are going to, and they do it. So there's a process that DHS use it. That's not something we're involved with. I mean, that's their responsibility, and they're doing it. But I really believe if we can get a good cadence going, you know, not only is that going to be beneficial for Florida, but I also think it's going to serve as a huge deterrent for people to want to come illegally in the first place, or people that may be here illegally violating the law will be able to maybe make a different decision. And we do offer, both the federal government and even us at Alligator Alcatraz, we offer an ability to simply fly home. You got to be escorted and got to ensure that you're doing it, but you can do that and you can short circuit any process that you have to go through if you want to do it. So this is something that's going to be able to increase numbers. We're ready to flex to expand to Blanding if we need to. I'm not going to do it unless the cadence is there, because I want to make sure that we're getting it done. But Florida's been the leader in this, and I know the White House has called on other states to mimic what Florida's doing. I don't know, some states may not want to, some states may want to, but you know, it's not necessarily easy to do. Sometimes people think things we do in Florida, oh yeah, you know, you can rebuild the bridge in 3 days. Yeah, that's easy. You can do this, you can do that. No, and honestly, it takes a lot of ingenuity. It takes a lot of manpower. We've got a lot of great people that are working on this. You wouldn't have the strong task force presence without the sheriffs and a lot of our police chiefs. So we really appreciate it. I can tell you the people of the state appreciate the attention to this matter, because I think it's like we've been dealing with this for decades. You know, are we going to solve the problem, or are we not going to solve the problem? And if we can't solve it now, then when are we ever going to solve it? And the state of Florida has been leading the way on that. I also appreciate